Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Rajasthan goes to polls on 25th November, and just 4 days before today, Congress party has released its manifesto. And this is coming apart from the 7 guarantees which have been offered by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. Now, what were the major highlights of this manifesto today, which many people say that it has given momentum to the grand old party? Now, I'm going to talk to these identifiers one by one. Ashok Gehlot has, in this manifesto, spoken about a caste survey, which his government will conduct if the Congress returns to power. And this, of course, is an affirmative action. Then they have promised 10 lakh jobs, out of which 4 lakh jobs are the government jobs. They have promised to give MSP to the farmers according to the recommendations made by the Swaminathan Committee report. Then they have increased the amount of the Chiranjeevi health insurance scheme from 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs. Many people say that this probably could be the big game changer. Then they have promised 2 lakh interest-free loans to farmers, 5 lakh interest-free loans to the small traders. And apart from this, they have also increased the number of employment days under Manrega, that is rural and urban both. And from 125 days, now they have increased it to 150 days. So the question we are asking is that all these schemes which have been offered, or to say all the guarantees which have been offered by Ashok Gehlot to the people, do they guarantee the victory of Congress as a party in this election? Joining me now are 2 journalists from Rajasthan, Anil Sharma and Tabina Anjum. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining. And we also have senior journalist Sharad Gupta with us. So thank you so much for joining on the Federal. And let me begin with Anil. Looking at the manifesto today, are we in a position to say that apart from the 7 guarantees, which have been a talking point as far as the Ashok Gehlot government is concerned, does this manifesto give the required push to the Congress?
It seems it does. I'll put it this way. It is too late, but it is weighty. It has weight, in it. And if you look at it, you have already told people what are there in the manifesto. But the 7 guarantees you said, these 7 guarantees still stand there. Because what they have done now is these 7 guarantees plus this. So what you have now is gas cylinder 400 rupees. Earlier, it was 500 rupees. Now they made it to 700 rupees. So it's quite weighty and it covers almost every section of the society. If you look at it, every section has been covered. The farmers particularly and the small traders. 2 are going to get free loans, interest-free loans. So that's a big thing. Now, will it get momentum? I think it's somewhat late. What were they waiting for? Most probably what my logic says, they were waiting for BJP's manifesto to come. But in the meantime, what they've done is they've delayed a bit. You've got only 4 days in polling. And out of that, only 2 days remain for your canvassing and campaigning. And you have to reach out to each and every voter across the state, which is over 5.4, if I'm not wrong, crores. So how will they reach them? It is there where the importance of party workers come into picture. Now, are they prepared to go to the house and tell people these are the new things which we have added? It depends a lot on them now. And we have to see how do they perform.
So, Anil, are they going to be dependent now, given the time that the very little time is left? So, what will the party do? They will heavily depend on the social media, sending these messages and schemes through the smartphones. And of course, a physical publicity will be a little problematic.
It is going to be problematic, and that's my worry. Otherwise, if you look at it, this manifesto is weighty. If they could reach to people, they could convince people that just look at our manifesto and compare it with BJP's manifesto, which is not at all comparable with Congress manifesto, because this manifesto covers the youth, it covers the farmers, it covers the small traders, it also covers the general public in the form of Chiranjeevi Swasthya Yojana, which is going to be increased to 50 lakhs from 25. Even 25 was not bad. 25 is a very good amount, 50 is superb if you look at it. But will they be able to reach? Now, social media, I don't know how much of people watch social media on in rural villages. Urban, I can understand. So what they earlier devised was, most probably they have followed it also. The candidates were asked to send teams, then that means 199 candidates. So one election has been is not going there because not taking place there because one candidate has died of the Congress. So 199 seats, they'd ask their candidates to go and meet people and spread about the schemes of Rajasthan government. That is Ashok Gehlot government. Now time is very less. Will they be able to do it or not? Yes, this manifesto should give them momentum. But for momentum, you require it to be, it to reach to the masses. How will they reach? That is a big question for me. If they are able to reach in a successful manner, I think Congress is there. Congress is going to get complete momentum. Complete momentum.
Right. Tabina, if I may come to you now, there are multiple things which Gehlot government has offered in this manifesto. What do you think could be the possible trump card for the Gehlot government if there are any chances of Congress returning to power?
As you said, Neelu, and as Anil Sharma also said, I think, it's the social security schemes that Congress government is banking on. Gehlot government has been known for its social security schemes. So many other states, copied those schemes. We became a benchmark, and, so many were, implemented in other states also. And if you see OPS, old pension scheme, he has already in one of the guarantees, Congress did a very strategic move this time, though they are late. It's just 4 days before, they are releasing a manifesto, but it just, it is late, but in a way.
Tabina, do you feel that if they are late, then this could be of some kind of a disadvantage which Congress will be at?
Neelu, majorly, what is the major crux of this manifesto is 50 lakh Chiranjeevi Bima Yojana, your health insurance, 50 lakh, which was already 25 lakh, they have increased to 50 lakh. Then most of the things, are already existing in 7 guarantees. So the Gehlot government announced 7 guarantees a month ago. And I think, they've already, advertised those 7 guarantees. You can see the ads, you can see their MLAs in their speeches, talking about it, or the new candidates also they have fielded. They are speaking about those 7 guarantees. Those 7 guarantees is like, everybody knows about this 7 guarantees. So I think Chiranjeevi was not there because they got a lot of time to, what were those 7 guarantees were OPS, old pension scheme. They want to convert into old pension scheme act so that if there is a new government, nobody can repeal it. That 2 kg cow dung stuff that, we have taken, the Gehlot has taken from the, taken a cue from Chhattisgarh, and then, laptops for youth. So he's wooing the youth, for college students. Why college students? Because they will be eligible to vote, in future. Then 10,000 for women, women heads, and 15 lakh rupees for, insurance if there is any calamity. So then we saw the BJP. BJP's, this is very important because when BJP came out with their manifesto, it was much like the social security schemes were much influenced by those Congress's 7 guarantee schemes. And, it had somewhere the imprint, whether it was health, it was women, it was children, it was education, it was youth. So they promised that they'll, give 450 rupees a cylinder for Ujjwala Yojana beneficiaries. But what Congress's manifesto says, it says that they'll give it for, earlier they had said that 500 rupees, which they had already started. Now they are saying that when they come to power, at some point of time, they will reduce that 500 to 400. So it's not like, they'll come and very next day that 400 will be implemented. So here is a catch. It could be maybe after 2 years. It could be maybe after 1 year, after 3 years. We don't know. So like they have also reduced 50 rupees, more. So in a way, yeah, they are late because one of their, one of their big schemes, Chiranjeevi, they would really need, because this is what will really affect, people, the voters. Health is, the paramount, and it stands paramount.
Right. Now, of course, Sharaji, manifesto is a document of intent, what the government intends to do over the next 5 years if they return to power. But if you do a comparative analysis of what BJP has offered and what Congress is offering, and also juxtapose it with the political reality on the ground. So, if I may ask you a very cliched question, where do you think that the wind is blowing, in favor of Congress or BJP? Now, who seems to be having an edge, or is it very difficult to predict at this point of time?
Right now, there is no anti-incumbency wave against, if I may say so, against the chief minister or rather Congress. So they have run a very successful government for 5 years, and people are not angry about them. And to top it, their manifesto and the 7 guarantees, they may have wooed the people in favor of the Congress, but Rajasthan has a tradition of changing governments every 5 years. So if this government, the Congress government, bucks the trend, that'll be really an achievement. But if you, as you have really, asked me, so both Congress and BJP have a very similar manifesto, except for the degrees and the amounts. Both have offered something for every section of the society, whether it's women, youth, old, except that Gehlot government has offered two major things. One is old pension scheme, about which BJP is completely silenced. And it's a major issue for government employees. And second is caste-based census, which is another major issue, especially among the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and OBCs. So let's see how these two issues make people change their opinion, or maybe consolidate their opinions. But if you compare the two manifestos, Congress is much ahead of BJP in wooing the voters. And now I'm very surprised at the leaders who have been voicing their concerns over fiscal deficit and fiscal health of a state government because of these reveries. So now nobody is complaining, and everybody is in a competitive politics. So that's very strange, and I'm sure maybe 4 months, 5 months down the line, these people will again come and crib about the reveries कि सब इतने इतने आप पैसे बांट रहे हैं, आप इतने ढेर सारे schemes दे रहे हैं. Actually, the government should be enabler of people. They should make people stand on their own feet instead of making them dependent on the government for everything. But somehow, this competitive politics has ensured that people now look at the government to provide them subsistence, to provide them money for almost everything. Their health is almost free, their education is almost free, means even the ration is free. So what? Why do they have to work? They don't need to work.
Yeah.
So the
No,
government
yeah.
should make policies which should allow people to struggle and rather work for their own welfare. And all the welfare is being done by the government. This is what happened after Manrega. Means a lot of farm labor, means lot of big farmers, they had problems in getting farm labor. And I'm suspecting again the same thing is going to happen when everything is they're being given free. So why should they work? Whatever they'll earn, they'll splurge on, say, alcohol and other things, and that's my assumption.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, of course, but freebies have become the cornerstone of these recent elections, whether it is Chhattisgarh, whether it is Madhya Pradesh. But I want to come back to Rajasthan and its manifesto. Anil, how do you see Ashok Gehlot now consolidating his position? If everyone is saying, and that's what we are hearing, that, Congress does seem to have an edge on the ground. And if Congress returns to power, what happens to Ashok Gehlot from here on? If they get a comfortable majority, do we see Ashok Gehlot becoming the chief minister? And is that question of Sachin Pilot becoming the chief minister, is that settled? Or will it lead to more problems once the party returns to power? Are we going to see those similar scenes which we saw about 2 years ago?
On whose face and whose policies the Congress is fighting in Rajasthan? My first question will be this. Who is touring the complete state? Second question will be this. There's only one guy who's touring across the state and who has already done about 100 plus rallies is Ashok Gehlot. Now, how can you sideline him? When you are making a chief minister, either you get 120 or you get 104. It does not make a difference, frankly. So Sachin will have to wait. That's my that's my, I'll say, expectation. But there's a big but. Is he ready to take it? Is Mr. Pilot ready to be a junior to Ashok Gehlot now? Because he has waited 5 years. In 5 years, we have seen lots of political drama in Rajasthan. And thanks to both of them, otherwise we never got any political stories coming up from Rajasthan. We also had something to write about. We also had something to speak about. Otherwise, it was a very dull state in politics. Every editor you ask in Delhi, he'll say, "Yaar, kuch nahi hota. Rajasthan mein kya karna hai? Kya likhoge politics pe?" Now they are very keen on Rajasthan. They love about Rajasthan, hearing about Rajasthan. So my take is, you are fighting on Ashok Gehlot's face. You are fighting on Ashok Gehlot's guarantees. All the guarantees are Ashok Gehlot guarantees plus the policies which he announced prior to model code of conduct. And out of 10 policies announced, out of 10, about 7 or 8 have been delivered on the ground. So obviously, I don't think so. Ashok Gehlot not being a chief minister of the state, I don't think so. Frankly
But
speaking.
Anil, I also want to ask you that what kind of an image does Ashok Gehlot have in terms of governance? Because what BJP leaders keep saying that, he hasn't performed. It is only in the last 6 or 7 months, that the government has woken up. But what is a realistic picture? Do people have faith in Ashok Gehlot as a chief minister, as a performer, as someone who's reposed that faith in the people?
Pick up any of the opinion polls, though I don't agree with the opinion polls. Pick up any opinion polls on the chief minister of Rajasthan, okay? You'll find Ashok Gehlot at the top. And the difference is quite substantial between him and even Vasundhara Raje, or for that matter, Sachin Pilot. One of the polls I remember where they asked for, are you satisfied, very satisfied with Ashok Gehlot's work? It was 43%. Then they asked, thoda bahut satisfied ho kya aap? Then it said 23. The total was 71%. Now, 71% people satisfied with Ashok Gehlot itself speaks about it that people in Rajasthan, what Sharadji said, I fully agree to it. Anti-incumbency against Ashok Gehlot is not there. No anger against Ashok Gehlot is not there. Except for this, some of the MLAs and ministers carry anti-incumbency. Otherwise, Ashok Gehlot as a person is kind of he's got a mass appeal. He's got a charisma. He has got people following him, people loving him. In fact, people loving him. So what happens after election? It's a $1 million question. If Ashok Gehlot is made chief minister, what will happen to Mr. Pilot? That Congress has to work out something. That we cannot work out, but you're fighting on Mr. Gehlot's image. You're fighting on his popularity. You're fighting on his policies. You're also fighting on the 7 guarantees given by him. It is not Modi ki guarantee. It is Gehlot's guarantees, in Rajasthan. So I always tell people, Rajasthan elections are a sort of, my guarantee, are they bigger than your guarantee? That means my guarantee means Ashok Gehlot guarantees, are they bigger than Modi's guarantees? The fight is between the beneficiaries of the two. Who is going to vote whom? That is to be seen. Plus, obviously, BJP will play its card very well of polarization. They will ultimately go there, and ultimately they'll seek help of it. They've started to now campaign is going to end next 2 days, so they've already started this in Rajasthan. Even today's roadshow, I was looking at the pictures somewhere. People chanting, Modi and Shri Ram. And when you talk about going to Mandir, also the Ram Mandir which is being built in Ayodhya, they said that it's going to be third Diwali for you in January. Tickets are being booked. Please book your tickets. These are the things which have come up, So BJP is master in that. Now, how Mr. Gehlot tackles it, that is a very important question for me.
Right. Tabina, I don't know whether to call this Congress manifesto as revolutionary, but despite a positive-looking manifesto and, Congress being upbeat about the whole thing and what they have offered, there is a feeling that, the rebels on both sides, whether it is BJP or Congress, rebels could play a spoiler, in the prospects of either Congress or BJP. But since we're talking only about Congress, so let's focus on that. What do you think would be the impact of the rebels this time on the prospects of Congress?
Neelu, if we look at 2018, if we go back 5 years ago, it were the rebels who really played a very important role. The independent candidates, Ashok Gehlot government had the support of 12 independent candidates. The candidates he can bank on. He said that he's banking on. They supported him throughout this 5 years, throughout the crisis. I mean, it was somebody, and we could see now that, most of them have been accommodated. They have been fielded from Congress, including the 6 BSP ones who later were inducted here. So now point comes this time, there are rebels from Congress as well as from BJP. But again, most of them and some of them who have, who are in a vulnerable situation are those who are very close to Vasundhara Raj. So, I mean, rebels are there, but we have to see winnability kitna hai. How many of them are going to win? I mean, or are they there just to cut the votes? What is the role of the rebels? And even if they're cutting the votes, who are they favoring? So let's say, for example, 3 close aides of Rajay, we say Rajpal Singh Shekhawat, who was not given a ticket from Jodhwara, and Rajavardhan was fielded from there. He chose to stand as an independent candidate, but later he withdrew his nomination. Then we go back to Didwana. There is Yunus Khan, the only Muslim candidate we had in 2018 from Tong, who was fielded against Sachin Pilot, and this time he was denied a ticket from BJP from Didwana. So he chose to, contest independent. Kailash Meghwal, 89-year-old, the former speaker, and who was just inducted in BJP. I don't know, in your show last time I said this, that he was inducted, he was a Raj's close aide. Then again, he was like some way, he was not given a ticket, and now he's fielding independently from Shahpura. So I mean, there are, in a similar fashion, we have, independent candidates, who are rebels from Congress. Now, it's very interesting because in Rajasthan has majorly been a 2-party state. I mean, there was AIMIM tried their, make inroads in the Rajasthan's political thing, but this time we don't see them anywhere. AAP tried their best in 2013, in 18, now again. So we don't see them anywhere. There is hardly any seat. So it was usually BSP, and BSP candidates have a, history of later favoring Congress. So this time, besides these independent candidates, what's also interesting is tribal candidates from the tribal belt, southern Rajasthan, Pratapgarh, Banswara, Chittorgarh, all of those areas. Last time we had Bharatiya Tribal Party here, and we had 2 MLAs who first supported Gehlot, then they withdrew their support later. And this time we have Bharat Adivasi Party. It's a BAP. It's called BAP. And we can see, a lot of support being generated, organic support you see, tribals coming in thousands, in lakhs. So there's kind of a tribal assertion also. So, but it's, it's really, it's now to see, will the seats go up from 2 to 4, 4 to 6, or will they further decrease?
Right. But I want to come back to Anil, and then I'll come to Sharadji. Anil, there have been 2 issues. Of course, the paper leaks issue, which on the ground amongst the youths is a big issue. And on that particular issue, Gehlot seems to be on the back foot. And then another scheme which Gehlot is tom-tomming about is the old pension scheme, which they are wanting to bring in. Now, are these 2 issues on the ground a neutralizing factor for both BJP and Congress? Because Congress, if they talk about OPS, then of course BJP can break up this, though the issues are not similar at all, but they are like an ammunition which both can tom-tom. So how do these particular 2 issues play out on the ground?
First of all, I'll just like to add what Tabina said. There are 53 rebels who are fighting elections this time. 30 from BJP and 23 from Congress. But Congress does not have a big stature leaders in fighting as rebels. On the other side, BJP does have, BJP does have big names fighting elections this time. So they will be spoilers. Yes, they can be spoilers for the BJP. They can be spoilers. Now I'll come to the paper leak and your OPS. They're very different issues if you look at it, Niluji, because OPS is concerned, basically it is for the government employees. Now, government employees are roughly about 7.5 lakhs to 8 lakhs in Rajasthan. I usually multiply with 3 to everyone, because 3 in a family, I take 3 in a family. That will be 24 lakhs. When it comes to paper leak, even if it becomes a major issue, because if you look at it, paper leak, then Agniveer is also a big issue in Rajasthan. Because Rajasthan gives lots of people, Rajasthanis joined army, and they are quite angry with Agniveer scheme this time, the youths particularly. So they might nullify each other, what I feel, not OPS. OPS is completely different from it, because if you move down towards Shekhawati region, from maximum number of people join army, there you will find the anger. The anger is so much, they are not talking about the assembly. They are also talking about the parliament elections. They are saying will not vote for this government, BJP government.
Right.
In Jaipur, if you ask someone, a youngish boy, he'll say paper leak is the biggest issue for us. So, it changes from one terrain to second terrain. Sikar is how much? About 120 kilometers from Jaipur? But you'll hear 2 different voices coming up. They are not worried about paper leaks. They are more worried about Agniveer. In Jaipur, if you ask them, they are more worried about paper leaks. They are not worried about Agniveer. So I think, because we have got about 22 lakhs as first-time voters in Rajasthan, they are going to play a very important, very, very important role. And that is why I feel now Mr. Sachin Pilot has been, they have come out with a united face of Congress, Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. Because even the Congress knows, the Congress leadership in Delhi, that Sachin Pilot is a face for youth. He can attract youth in big numbers. So that is why Congress is fighting as a united. And I always tell people that Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot become a formidable force in Rajasthan. Who wins or who loses, that is for the 3rd of December to see. But right now, they have become a formidable force, because in majority of rallies of Rahul Gandhi, you'll find both of them sitting there.
Right.
So it sends a picture to the general public and the workers too, who gets motivated, who gets encouraged that we are fighting unitedly and we have to make Congress win. So that is there now. Paper leak, yes, it is an issue in pockets. Agniveer, again, a issue, but in pockets.
Right.
And OPS for old pension scheme for state government employees, because they'll not come and speak in front of the camera. But behind the camera, they always talk about this, that agar Congress chali gayi, to hum to OPS ko kho denge. So that is the level. So they don't want Congress to go. Somehow they don't want Congress to go. So they are 2 different things.
Absolutely. Okay, so Sharaji, for the concluding remarks, you want to hazard a guess on the complete picture, what it looks like? Does it look like a neck and neck fight, which is very difficult to predict at this point of time? Or does it look like advantage Congress or advantage BJP clearly, according to you? Yes. You'll have to unmute yourself. Sharaji, you'll have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Before hazarding a guess, let me just point out one more thing. In fact, both parties have almost ignored Muslims. Muslims are 10% in population in Rajasthan, and Congress has fielded 13 candidates, and BJP has not given it to probably single candidate. So that shows the change in political strategies of all parties. Now Muslims no more matter to any party. One. Secondly, now what you're coming to is overall picture, and I feel it is still confusing. Although they're just 3 days, rather 2 days to go before campaigning closes, but I don't find anybody having a clear edge. Would be means there are clear divisions. If you talk to one group, they'll say BJP is winning. If you talk to another section, they are saying Congress is winning. So it is not very clear at the time that who has a upper hand.
Okay, so you're saying it's difficult to guess that which party. Yes, Anil, you want to say something? Yes.
I just wanted to what Sharadji left from there. Even both parties and their workers are confused who's going to win. Forget about the journalists. Forget about the people, working on the ground and trying to collect. But
Right.
even the parties are confused who's going to win. So this is the actual situation in Rajasthan. What Sharadji said, I just wanted to, take it further. Everyone is confused. Everyone is confused who's
Anilji,
going to win.
let me point out one more thing. I have been going to Rajasthan, except this time I didn't go to cover elections. But in every election, I have been going to Rajasthan. And in 2003, that was my first election in Rajasthan. And everybody used to praise Gehlot like anything. बहुत अच्छा काम किया ऐसा, बहुत अच्छा काम किया. And then he lost. The same thing happened in next elections. Everybody was praising Vasundhara Raje's work, and she lost. So Rajasthan is a very treacherous terrain. That's why it's very difficult to hazard a guess.
Right.
And another thing, just concluding remarks, that in 2003, when Vasundhara won and Gehlot lost, so I asked somebody after a year or two, year and a half, I went to Jaisalmer, I asked the person, what is the reason? How did I go wrong? I was asking people and everybody was praising Gehlot like anything. So the person said, sir, I have been a presiding officer. And Rajasthan was reeling under drought for last 2 years, other 3 years. So for 2 years, somehow Gehlot maintained the state's economy. But this year, he has withheld the bonus. So all the government employees, they were very apprehensive. And when they were going to take the EVMs from collectorate, everybody used to tell the other, कि देखो इस बार अगर ये जीत गया ना, तो अभी तो इन्होंने बोनस काटा है, नेक्स्ट टाइम पे वो इंक्रीमेंट भी नहीं देगा.
Right.
So
Right.
government employees play a very major role
Absolutely. Yeah.
in deciding the elections.
Right.
And with OPS, I think Congress has had an edge, at least as far as government employees is concerned.
No, absolutely. There are many silent undercurrents, which both the parties probably will have to face. So I think for now, after listening to Anil and Charaji and also Tabina, it's safe to say that it looks like a neck and neck fight for Rajasthan, at least at the moment. Thank you so much, Charaji, Anil, Tabina. It was wonderful having you on the program. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback and stay tuned to The Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to The Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.